Sri Gurubhyo Namaha children, you are welcome for online class, class 11. This is your prose class, third unit, forgetfulness, Robert Lend. And it is second part for us. In the first part, we have seen how the author wonders about the forgetfulness and he is giving the reason, and he tells that medicine sometimes is a meal is a reminder for taking up the pills or medicine. So the meal or breakfast or the dinner or lunch, whatever it is reminding that you have to take either before that or after that or during the time. So the medicine up to you. So the author has also faced the problem that forgetting, he is having medicine in his own pocket and sometimes he forgets. So he tells very clearly, we wish to forget, that's why we are forgetting. If we wish to remember it, we will be remembering. So that point in the previous part we have seen. So let us see what the author's opinion, how he forgets, why he forgets, let us see. This does not explain, however, how it is that a lifelong devotee of medicines like myself is forgetful of them as those who take them most unwillingly. Because the person is taking the medicine unwillingly, there is no interest in it. If he is having an interest, quite sure they will be taking the medicine. So sometimes we will be not willing to do something and we are not willing. So sometimes somebody will be pressurizing us to do that, or something will pressurize because it is a life thing, medicines. And sometimes students, when studies, when they are interested, when they take the book, it will be interest, quite interest, they will be learning a lot. When they are not interested, when they are less interested, when they are forced to do it, then they will forget what they are learning because somebody forced them, it is not their own interest. So the interest is lacking, so they are forgetting. So here also the same, he says he is unwilling to take that. So he is not wishing to take, he is not interested in doing that. The very prospect of a new and widely advertised cure-all delights me. Yet, even if I have the stuff in my pockets, I forget about it as soon as the hour approaches at which I ought to swallow it. Chemists make their fortunes out of the medicine people forget to take. So here chemists make their fortunes. Chemists make their fortune because when you just think over, a person forgets to take medicine at the right time. He forgets to take medicines. What will happen? He will not be cured. And once he is not cured, so again you have to go for the disease or disorders which he is having, and you have to get tablets and you have to eat. So the chemists are most profitable person here because they will be willing that the person must forget so that they will be buying more medicine. Okay, so till this it is very clear. So chemists make their fortunes. How they make fortunes? By somebody forgetting to take the tablet, the disease is or disorder is not cured, so they have to go for another course of medicine, and again they will go and buy new course of medicine and they have to pay for it, and the chemists were profitable person for this. And the person who forgets is a loser. He is just having a loss in his life. Okay. Sometimes life loss, sometimes money loss. Okay children, it is very clear? Okay. The commonest form of the forgetfulness, I suppose, occurs in the matter of posting letters. So common is it that I am always reluctant to trust a departing visitor to post an important letter. So little do I rely on his memory that I put him on his oath before handing the letter to him. As for myself, anyone who asks me to post a letter is a poor judge of character. Even if I carry the letter in my hand, I am always past the first pillar box before I remember that I have to have posted it. Wary of holding it in my hand, I then put it for safety into one of my pockets and forget all about it. After that, it has an adventurous life till. So the author tells the second way is, see, suppose we was talking about the medicine, taking the medicine. Sometimes the meals are reminders, and A person who is unwilling to take the medicine, he will be not ready to take at the right time, so he will be forgetting easily. And once he forget, he is a loser, he loses some money because his disease is not, or disorder is not cured. So you have to go again for the course. When he is going again for the course, the chemist is the person who is selling the medicine is, and the doctor whom you are going is profitable and you are lost. So it is very clear. And again one more thing he is talking about, the letter posting. So the letter posting also, sometimes you will be getting a oath and just give to a person to post it, but they will forget. When they come passing the letter box or post office, they will totally forget, and after reaching some long distance it will recollect that they posted, and then if they are very energetic person, they will go and post. Otherwise what they will think, tomorrow when I am going, next time when I am going, and at last sometimes the letter and not written letter and not reach the person because it is not posted. Many of the letters are like that. So one person was even the author. The author says, Robert Lynn says, he also had something like that. Sometimes he will be going and passing the way when he was just, somebody gave the letter or his own letter is writing. Sometimes he will forget, and to be safe, he will be putting in his pocket, and totally he will be forgetting about it to post it. And he had had many letters which had not posted, and some letters later he posted. So when somebody is giving, or he is giving the letter to somebody, he will be getting a promise that surely you have to post it. Okay children, till this it is very clear. So here he says that after that it has an unadventurous life, still a long chain of circumstance leads to a number of embarrassing questions being asked, and I am compelled to produce the evidence of my guilt from my pocket. This, it might be thought, must be due to a lack of interest in other people's letter, but that cannot be explanation. For I forgot to post some even of the few letters that I myself remember to write. So the author says that somebody gave a letter, I have not posted, maybe that I am not interested in the other's letter. Sometimes the author, his own letter itself, he forgot to, but he can't give an explanation, because it is your letter, I am not interested to post. So he can't say that. It is not possible. So here the author says very clearly, even if his own letter, same thing happens to him. So it is very clear children. Okay, we will go to the next paragraph. As for leaving articles in trains and in taxis, I am no great delinquent in such matters. I can remember almost anything, often remember even books. Walking sticks, I find it quite impossible to keep. I have an old-fashioned taste for them, and I buy them frequently, but no sooner do I pay a visit to a friend's house or go a journey in a train than another stick on its way into the world of the last. I dare not carry an umbrella for fear of losing it. To go through life without ever having lost an umbrella, as even the grimmest jarred umbrella carrier even achieved this. So now he is telling that so many things he will be losing. So people used to leave bats, balls and other things. So he was talking about the walking stick and umbrella. So he was scared, he was very much frightened to take umbrella, because he had never brought back the umbrella. Somewhere he will be just leaving. Even a costly umbrella, very strong umbrella also, he will be just losing it. So he will be scared to take umbrellas. And especially walking stick, when he is taking, he will be buying a new stick when he is getting down somewhere in the bus or tram or in a train. When he get back, he will be forgetting sometimes, and he have to get a new one. So he is telling that, so that was happening in his own life. Few of us, however, have lost much property in our travel through forgetfulness. The ordinary man arrives at his destination with all his bags and trunks safe. The list of articles lost in trains during the year suggests that it is a young rather than the adult who forget things, and the sportsmen have worse memories than their ordinary serious-minded fellows. A considerable number of footballs and cricket bats, for instance, were forgotten. This is easy to understand, for boys returning from the games have their imagination still filled with the vision of the playing field, and their heads are among the stars of their hearts in their boots as they recall their exploits or or errors. They are abstracted from the world outside them. Memories prevent them from remembering to do such small prosaic things as take the ball or the bat with them when they leave the train. So why they've lost so many bats, balls and other things? Because after their game, they were engaged with their mind with so many things happen on the ground. Something was very worse and something was very wonderful. And whether it is wonderful or worse, sometimes because of the happening, it is filled in their mind and they totally forget about the ball and the bat or which they have shoes or boots which they are carrying. They'll be just forgetting and going. You know, even as sports stars, they'll be forgetting something. So when they are just recollecting their in the train when they're sitting, how they were in the ground and how he had given a 6 shot or how he was out on that day. And how when he bowled so many ways. So many things will be running in their mind even with the kids or with the elder. And so this is the reason that they were just leaving the forget. Something is interested in their mind than this, so totally they forget about this. So it is very clear, children, you understood? Okay. For the rest of the day, they are citizens of dreamland. The same may be said, no doubt, of anglers who forget their fishing rods. Anglers are generally said, I do not know with what justification, to the most imaginative of men, and the man who is inventing magnificent lies on the journey home after a day's fishing is bound to be little absent-minded in his behavior. The fishing rod of reality is forgotten by him as he daydreams over the fears of the fishing rod of utopia. His loss of memory is really a tribute to the intensity of his enjoyment in thinking about his day's sports. He may forget his fishing rod as the poet may forget to post a letter because his mind is filled with matter more glorious. So the author gives a reason for forgetting. When somebody who is hobby is fishing, and when they are going for fishing, they will be taking the fishing rod, and because they have to go and fish, they will be taking it to the place and they will be enjoying their fishing, and while they are coming, they will be a daydreamer and they will be fishing and they have their own daydream. When they come and took the train or a tram or a bus or whatever it is, totally they forget about themselves because they are daydreamer. After sitting, they will be just dreaming about the fishing, what they had and how they enjoyed the sports. So that all will be filled in their mind and it will be running fully. So totally the absent-minded of what they brought, the fishing rod, and they will just forget where they kept and just they will get down. So it is very clear, children. The same way, not only fishing rod, he may forget his fishing rod as the poet forgets. So he is forgetting the fishing rod because he has an enjoyment how he had fished in that place, and the total day how he had utilized, that was so interesting to him, and it was very much happy in his mind, and that makes him to keep a full stop for think about the fishing rod. So the incident with the fishing rod is remembering, the fishing rod which made it, he totally forgets. The same way here it happens to the poet. A poet was full of imagination and he was thinking about the poetry and he was thinking the words and lines and how to make it like that in his mind, and totally he forgets to get or post the letter which he got. So the author also forgets like that only. So he gives a reason for his forgetting. So it is very clear, children, a person who is a sports star or a hobby person who is having a hobby as fishing, or he is very much interested in that sports, he goes and fishes, and after that he comes and recollects all the thing what is happening, and he totally forgets about the rod which helped him. The same way the poetry minded person, author is a poet, and he was filled with the joy of poetry and other things in his mind, and he forgot the person who gave him a letter to post it. So till this it is very clear to you. Okay. Absent-mindedness of this kind seems to me all but a virtue. So it is all about a virtue. The absent-minded man is often a man who is making the best of life and therefore has no time to remember the mediocre. Who would have trusted Socrates or Coleridge to post a letter? They had soul above such things. So here absent-mindedness of things kind seems to me all but virtue. So this is all about virtue, and the absent-minded man is often, so the absent-minded man is often a man who is making the best of life. So who is making the best of life and therefore has no time to remember the mediocre. So he has no time of remembering the mediocre. Who would have trusted Socrates or Coleridge to post a letter? So will anybody trust Coleridge or Socrates to go and give a letter to post it? They will not trust, because their thought, their thinking is different and their interest is different, and this they will not keep in their mind. Surely they will be forgetting. The question whether the possession of a good memory is altogether desirable has often been discussed, and men with fallible memories have sometimes tried to make out of a case for their superiority. A man, they say, who is a perfect remembering machine is seldom a man of the first intelligence. So sometimes you would have seen in a Guinness record, a 2 years child or 5 years child or 12 years child is just telling a table, telling the animal's name and tells a number. So it will be a wonder for us. So because he had been packed with the memory, and that memory helps him. See, he is keen and interested in that, and what he is doing, he is interested. So when he is interestedly doing something, he is able to pack everything in his brain, and that he has a memory and he is just bringing back. Okay. So the question whether the possession of a good memory is altogether desirable has often been discussed, and men with fallible memories have sometimes tried to make out of cases of their superiority. So same person who is forgetting to get the key or something else he is forgetting, but he was very keen in his studies or something else. So that shows the keen interest he has on that, the uninterest he has on something else. So when he wishes to forget, he is forgetting. If he wishes to recollect and do it something, or he is very interested to do that, so that makes his memory to remember, and he was able to do it. Okay. Various cases of children or men who had marvelous memories and who had no intelligence to speak of. I imagine, however, that on the whole of great writers and the great composers of music have been men with exceptional powers of memory. The poets I have known have had better memories than the stockbrokers I have known. Memory inside is half the substance of their art. So he gives so many persons that who has a memory, and he is giving so many just tell the poem or tell the words or tell something good in the science or music or so many things, and they were able to keep that in their memory, and they were able to say correctly and exactly and prove that they are the intelligent person in the world. So memory indeed is half the substance of their art. So the art which they having, in that memory is half, the remaining half is their interest and the way they are just learning it or the way they are doing it, that is. On the other hand, Statesmen seem to have an extraordinary bad memories. Let two statesmen attempt to recall. So, here he given an example for good memory. So, he given an example for a good memory. So, your children will see the opposite of good memory, how it is in the next part of the lesson. So, we will be seeing in the third part, this is your second part of the lesson. So, to receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates, children. Thank you, children. We will meet you in the next part.